The Gala V2 token is upon us, and we're going to take a look at what you need to know, as well as what is happening, when is it happening, and why is it happening. So first and foremost, all of these links are going to be in the description below, so you guys can go ahead and read this on your own or go and use it as reference. But this is the medium that came out a few days ago. It says introducing Gala V2, a new era for the Gala Games token, and this is happening on May 15th. So in about 1 month's time, they are going to be migrating over to V2. And if we take a look at this, don't worry, because it is going to be a one-to-one. So all of your current Gala is going to remain. You're not losing anything, you're not gaining anything. It's going from V1 to V2, the same amount to the same amount. So now this is what you need to do to make sure that you get all of your Gala tokens, your V2 Gala tokens. It does say that we strongly recommend you store your Gala in your personal wallet, whether that is a MetaMask or whichever other EVM compatible wallet you use, a ledger, whatever the case may be. But they say it's strongly recommended that you store that in your personal wallet, and that you don't have it in liquidity pools, that you don't have it in any smart contract. And if you have it on an exchange, they do say they're going to be working with all of their exchange partners. But in my opinion, if I have Gala on my exchange, I'm sending it over to my MetaMask or my ledger, because I want to make sure that as soon as May 15th happens, I don't want to be waiting on an exchange for my new tokens. I want to get them airdropped directly to my wallet so that I can do whatever I want with them. So obviously I would recommend doing the same. And they also do say, as we mentioned, to remove Gala from any liquidity pools as well as any smart contracts before the snapshot on May 15th. So you still have a bit of time for that, because they say they cannot guarantee that Gala dropped to liquidity pool contracts will be recoverable. So of course, it's always better to be safe and sorry. Now, a few key FAQs. What you need to know about this is what's going to happen to your V1 Gala. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. It's completely done after that. You're going to still see it in your balance, but what you can do is just simply hide the balance, and you're not going to see it anymore in your MetaMask. But the V1 contract or the V1 token is going to be absolutely worthless once the token airdrop in V2 launches. Now, if you're wondering if you have Gala in your treasure chest and you're wondering what that is, well, if you were in Gala, or if you're using the Gala ecosystem, playing their games, some of these rewards are given in Gala. And as you can see here, I have 3.4K in my treasure chest for Gala. So what's going to happen is that even if I don't claim this amount of tokens, once the V2 migration happens and I decide to claim this, it's now going to be in V2. But of course, if I decide to claim it before, it's just going to be airdropped to my wallet or wherever I hold this Gala. So don't worry if you have any Gala in your treasure chest. You can either just leave it there or claim it, and you're still going to get that V2 airdropped to you. Now, they say, is this a bad thing? And obviously it's not a bad thing. An upgrade is always a good thing. And one of the reasons why they are doing this upgrade or launching a V2 token, we can take a look at their roadmap. They launched a few months ago. They gave us a PowerPoint presentation with all this information. Again, don't worry, it's going to be in the description below. But what we can see here is that they have essentially said that they need to do a migration to a V2 contract for many different reasons, but one of the key reasons here is for their circulating supply and for how the node structure works with the emissions of these Gala tokens, and this is why they need to do this upgrade. So I am going to be leaving a link to this. I'm not going to go through everything, but what I want to point your attention to is the way that the tokens are currently distributed to node holders. As you may or may not know, every single year there is a halving cycle happening, and this is a time-based halving. So every July 22nd, there is a cut in half of the amount of tokens that are given out to node holders. This started back in July 21st of 2019. You can see that 68 million tokens were being given on a daily basis, which means that about 25 billion Gala per year were given out. Now, obviously, every year that is cut in half, and that's also cut on the amount of nodes that are actually online. But that's a separate thing. We're just going to take a look at the total amount of Gala entering the circulating supply. And what they plan on doing here is that they want to switch this mechanism, and they obviously had a vote with all the nodes and the founders of this to make sure that everybody wants this, but they do want to go ahead and change it to a supply-based halving. And if you're unfamiliar with what that means, is that essentially when a milestone in total supply is reached, the halving would take place automatically. So it's not a given time of year. It's actually, let's say there is a total supply of 20 billion. Well, once that is reached, what would happen is there would be a halving happening then. So that's their proposed new structure here. And that's one of the main drivers for the migration to V2 for Gala. It does say here supply-based halving is a significant driver for updating and shipping a new Gala V2 contract. Then it also says that Gala also needs to lock in the ability for users to burn to buy, as burn tokens are currently still part of the maximum supply, which ultimately is impeding the burn and mint program that's detailed below. So then they talk about the founders note in Q1 2023. I assume that has happened because they are going ahead with a V2 migration. And here is a bit of more information about the burn and mint and how it's currently working and why they need to change this and why there's a token migration. So first and foremost, if an end user purchases an in-game item, what's happening is that it's using this pay to burn. So I'm taking 100 Gala, buying an NFT. What's happening to my 100 Gala? It's being sent to the burn address. So then it says that this transaction is captured by the indexer, the blockchain, and then once this transaction has been sent, there's nothing that can be done to recover these tokens as they are gone forever. Now, obviously, I'm going to be happy I get my NFT. Now for the founders nodes distribution, because as we took a look at, it is giving Gala on a daily basis to all people who are running nodes, but it's important to understand that the distribution takes place from the unminted Gala. So it's the max supply minus the total supply, and that equals the unminted supply, and that's where the Gala is being introduced to the ecosystem and given to these founders nodes. So that's also something important to know. But if we move on to the next slide here, this is the current problem with the halving schedule of it being every single year. It says, however, in the long run, this will deprive the founders node of reward for supporting the ecosystem. And let's say after 25 years, there's only going to be 4 Gala that's released to the ecosystem on a daily basis. Because remember, we started with 60 million tokens on a daily basis, and it was cut in half, cut in half, cut in half. And after 25 years, that would result in 4 Gala per day. And that would be distributed across all node holders, which would basically mean that you're not getting anything on a daily basis for helping this ecosystem. So that was a whole lot of information, but let me try and summarize everything with this slide here. The first thing we need to understand is that this schedule, including the burn, so any tokens that are burnt, does not introduce more tokens to the ecosystem, or it does not modify the max supply in any way. Tokens which are burned are not injected back into the ecosystem. This is what we need to understand. So right now on the left here, let me get rid of my face so you guys can see the full screen, or let me just put it right here. We can see that this is what we currently have. So we have a date-based halving cycle. Every year, we're going down by half of the rewards given out. Now, the proposed schedule, which is a total supply based halving schedule, this is going to happen when we reach a certain total supply. So again, you had year one, 25 billion. Then once we reach that, it goes down to 12.5, so on and so forth. And here we have the same total supply based halving, but now we introduce the burn. So again, remember that the burn does not add any tokens. They're not taking the burnt tokens and bringing them back alive. They are essentially going to extend this cycle. So if we take, for example, year one, imagine we're in year one, we've reached 25 billion tokens, but a certain amount of these tokens were used and burned. What they're going to do, they're not going to take the burn tokens and bring them back. They're going to take the unminted tokens and add a portion of that to this number one cycle, or to this year one cycle. And as it reaches that 25 billion again, then there would be a halving event. So this way, they can literally balance the amount of tokens that are being minted versus the amount of tokens that are being burnt on a total supply basis, rather than just say, okay, July 22nd, we're having this. And maybe during the year, there was a lot more tokens burnt than tokens minted because they don't have this new strategy in mind. So that's why they're going ahead with this new proposed halving schedule. So I hope I did a good job explaining that. Again, I am going to leave all the links in the description below so you guys can have a look at this and kind of do your own reading and your own analysis on this. But again, all of the information is on this here. And what you need to remember is that this token migration is happening on the 15th. One of the big reasons it's happening is for that halving schedule we just looked at. And currently the price of Gala is sitting around 4.5 cents. But again, I'm bullish on it. I think great things are happening to Gala, and that's just my opinion. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss these updates. Smash the like button, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.